She shot her. I was standing over there. She shot her. She's the one who shot her.
Restraining order, but she shot her.
She was in the car. Oh my fucking God.
I'm paging the car, bro. I'm paging the car. How you feel? She didn't talk her. Get up. You scared as hell, right? Scared as hell. Keep running, baby.
No, it wasn't. You had it by the car and I saw you.
You were turning yourself over the car, bro. You were turning in the car, bro. What are you talking about? You had her in a headlock. When you shot her, Cody, I was there. I'll write a statement. Don't worry about
I
it.
want her arrested. There's a fucking gun on the street.
This is Romeka Meeks Blackman, a 31-year-old aspiring nurse and devoted mother who would be found dead on the morning of September 8, 2025, bleeding out against a black Chevy sedan in Chicago's South Loop, shot 3 times at point-blank range by her child's father's girlfriend while other parents dropped their kids off at school. But before we get to the chilling courtroom revelations that expose what really happened that day, let me take you back to where this deadly love triangle began. The morning of September 8, 2025 started like any other Monday for Romeka. She was doing what countless mothers across America do every single day, preparing her child for school, packing his lunch with care, and tucking a heartfelt note inside that would later break the hearts of everyone who read it. The note read, quote, "Happy Monday, son. This is a fresh start to this day, and you can start off strong. Always remain yourself. You are the coolest, smartest, and funniest kid I know. I love you so much. Love, Mommy." End quote. These would be the last written words this little boy would ever receive from his mother, a devastating reality that makes this tragedy all the more unbearable to process. Romeka shared this tender moment on social media just hours before the incident that would claim her life, completely unaware that the simple act of dropping her son off at school would lead to her death. She had no way of knowing that at approximately 9:06 in the morning, near Cermak Road and State Street in Chicago's South Loop, she would encounter 2 people who would forever alter the course of her young son's life: Carlos Los Way, the father of her 6-year-old son, and Quidaja Holly Johnson, who we now know also goes by her real name, Quidasha Johnson, the current girlfriend of Carlos Way and mother to his 6-month-old child. Now, here's where the timeline becomes absolutely crucial to understanding what prosecutors believe actually happened that morning. Johnson and Carlos Way had been near his home earlier that morning, and according to court documents, they drove to 20 West Cermak, where Johnson's vehicle was parked. They placed their 6-month-old baby into Johnson's car in the back seat, and it was around this exact same time that Romeka had just dropped off her own son at the nearby school and was driving back through the area. The convergence of these 2 women at this specific location at this specific moment would prove to be catastrophically fatal. But was it really the random encounter that the defense would later claim, or was there something far more calculated at play?
So I was the one that was yelling out to arrest her, because everybody wasn't doing anything. I was actually the one who called the cops first. I saw them when they were fighting in the beginning, and I was like, this is not right. He was slamming her with a door when she was standing in her door frame, not even close to the female. She was literally standing on the other side of the road. Her baby daddy was literally slamming the door on her back.
Witnesses who were present at the scene that morning told police that the 2 women began arguing. However, what makes this case particularly disturbing is that multiple eyewitnesses reported seeing Carlos Way actively participate in restraining Romeka. According to testimony that emerged in court proceedings, witnesses told investigators that Carlos Way slammed a car door on Romeka, physically trapping her, and then, in a move that defense attorneys will have an extremely difficult time explaining away, he allegedly placed her in a chokehold, restraining the mother of his child while his current girlfriend retrieved her weapon. Johnson retrieved a 9mm handgun from her vehicle, a weapon she legally owned as a licensed concealed carry holder, and as Romeka allegedly broke free from Carlos Way's chokehold, Johnson fired. But here's the detail that absolutely destroys any claim of self-defense, and this is the most shocking part of this entire case that you're about to hear. Prosecutors revealed in court that Johnson shot Romeka once, paused, and then fired 2 more times. 3 9mm shell casings were recovered from the scene, physical evidence that corroborates the witness accounts of 3 distinct shots being fired. Romeka suffered devastating gunshot wounds to her chin and thigh, injuries that caused her to bleed out right there on the street, collapsing against that black Chevy sedan on what should have been an ordinary Monday morning. The immediate aftermath of the shooting was captured in graphic cell phone videos that circulated on social media, footage so disturbing that Romeka's family publicly pleaded for people to stop sharing it out of respect for her and her young son.
No, please stop sharing them poses of my sister, please. Please stop sharing that post of my baby sister on that ground, please. Get y'all, please. For my mama and for me and my siblings' sake. Please, y'all. My sister is gone. Yes, she is. Please. Please. Please, I see y'all calling everything. I can't. I'm doing this to let y'all know I am very broken. Me and my family is broken. Please, y'all, please. Give us some time to respond, to talk to y'all, to anything. Please, y'all. My baby sister is gone. Please. The worst is pain ever. I just want y'all to understand. If y'all never understand in y'all life, I didn't know I had to do. Anybody lost a sibling, y'all, I don't know. I didn't know this hurt like this.
But while those videos are too graphic to describe in detail, what they reveal about Johnson's behavior in the moments after she had just taken another woman's life is absolutely chilling and provides crucial insight into her state of mind. Witnesses at the scene can be heard on the footage pointing at Johnson and shouting accusations, screaming that she was the shooter, identifying her to police officers who had just arrived on scene.
She's the one who shot her. Restraining order, but she shot her. The gun in the car. The gun's in the car. Oh my fucking God! I'm baby in the car. How you close to the chopper? Get up. You scared as hell, right? Scared as hell.
These eyewitnesses, traumatized by what they had just observed in broad daylight in what should be a safe school zone, watched as emergency responders performed chest compressions on Romeka right there on the pavement, desperately trying to save her life. The crime scene was chaotic. Blood pooled on the ground, shell casings were scattered around the area, some even landing on a nearby windshield, and Chicago police officers and ambulances flooded the South Loop intersection. But despite the frantic efforts of paramedics to preserve her life, Romeka was rushed to Stroger Hospital where she was pronounced dead. Now here's where this case takes an even darker turn and where the claims of self-defense begin to completely fall apart under scrutiny. Quadaja Johnson was detained at the scene by Chicago police, which is standard procedure when someone admits to shooting another person. But what happened next shocked Romeka's family and outraged the community. Johnson was released pending further investigation without being charged. For nearly 3 months while Romeka's family grieved, while her struggled to explain to a 7-year-old why her mother wasn't coming home, Johnson remained free, protected by her claims of self-defense and her status as a legal concealed carry permit holder.
Blackman's mother is now left raising her 7-year-old grandson.
I just want justice for my daughter, and I want peace in my family. This has been such a hard 3 months. It's been painful. It's been terrible. We've been torn apart. One of the leaders of our family, she was the baby, but she was the leader. The holidays are not holidays. I'm just grateful to God.
But investigators were quietly building their case, and it turns out that Johnson had filed an order of protection against Remeka back in June of 2025, 3 months before the shooting, alleging that Remeka had made threats against her through family members. However, here's the critical detail that Johnson's defense team probably doesn't want you to focus on. That order of protection was never served. Despite attempts by authorities to serve Remeka with a protection order, it never actually reached her, which means she legally had no knowledge of its existence.
Also learning the accused had filed an order of protection months earlier that was never served.
This unserved order of protection becomes extremely relevant when examining Johnson's claims of self-defense. If she genuinely feared for her safety from Remeka, why was she at that location on that morning with Carlos Way and their infant child? Why didn't she avoid the area near Remeka's son's school if she believed herself to be in danger? Perhaps even more damning to Johnson's self-defense claim is what prosecutors revealed happened immediately after the shooting, details that paint a picture of someone who was far from being a terrified woman who had just narrowly escaped with her life. According to court testimony, after Remeka lay dying on the pavement, Johnson and Carlos Way allegedly fist-bumped each other. If Johnson was truly acting in self-defense, if she truly had just experienced a terrifying moment where she feared for her very life, would her immediate reaction be to fist-bump the man who had allegedly held the victim in a chokehold? The psychological impact on Remeka's son cannot be overstated.
Carlos may be hurt for the rest of his life, but we make sure he see rainbows in his clouds. Amen. Okay? Nothing will ever change about that. There is nothing he needs that we cannot provide. He is perfectly well. He is happy. He is thriving. Yes. And even when he feels his lowest, we pull him out of it together like we do with each other. Yes. He is a superstar like his mom, and he's going to show her better than he can tell her. Yes.
And while Remeka's family grieved, while they struggled to explain to a 7-year-old why her mother wasn't coming home, Johnson remained free for months, her concealed carry license still valid, her gun still in her possession. But justice, though delayed, was finally coming. On December 4th, 2025, nearly 3 full months after she shot Remeka Meeks Blackman to death, Quadaja Johnson was finally arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The delay in charging her had nothing to do with a lack of evidence or uncertainty about what happened that morning in September. Rather, investigators needed time to thoroughly review witness statements, analyze the physical evidence from the scene, and build an airtight case that would overcome Johnson's claims of self-defense and her status as a legal gun owner.
Down for you. Prosecutors are revealing new details about the shooting that left Remeka Blackman dead. They say the accused shooter, Quadaja Johnson, had never met Blackman in person, even though she filed an unserved order of protection against her last December, claiming threats through family members. Blackman's mother is now left raising her 7-year-old grandson.
Think about the implications of that statement for a moment. Johnson filed legal documents claiming Remeka was threatening her through family members, claiming she feared for her safety. Yet by her own admission, the two women had never even laid eyes on each other until that fatal morning in September. How does someone file for protection from a person they've never met? How does someone claim to be in immediate fear for their life from a stranger? This disconnect between Johnson's legal filings and her actual interactions with Remeka raises serious questions about the motivation behind that order of protection. Was it a genuine attempt to protect herself from threats, or was it a preemptive legal maneuver designed to establish a paper trail that could later be used to justify violence? When Johnson appeared in court for her bond hearing, her defense team made a plea that struck many observers as tone-deaf given the circumstances of the case. Johnson's attorneys argued that she should be released because she is 7 weeks pregnant, hoping her pregnancy would convince the judge to grant her leniency and allow her to await trial from home rather than jail. The irony of this request was not lost on Remeka's family or the prosecutors handling the case.
Now, Johnson's lawyers did argue that she's 7 weeks pregnant and should be released from custody. The judge didn't see it that way. She remains in custody even right now. Johnson's next court appearance is scheduled to happen December 23rd.
Johnson's next court appearance is scheduled for December 23rd, 2025, just 2 days before Christmas. As that date approaches, legal experts and the community at large are watching closely to see how Johnson's defense team will attempt to reconcile their self-defense claims with the mounting evidence against her. But perhaps one of the most controversial aspects of this entire case has nothing to do with the charges or the court proceedings themselves. According to investigative journalists following the case closely, despite being charged with first-degree murder, Johnson's concealed carry license has not been revoked, and technically, under Illinois law, she could still legally carry a weapon. This shocking revelation has outraged community members and advocates who point out the absurdity of a system that allows someone charged with using a gun to murder to maintain their legal right to carry that weapon. The reason for this legal loophole is complex and speaks to the broader issues with gun regulations in Illinois. Concealed carry licenses in Illinois are issued and regulated at the state level by the Illinois State Police, not by local law enforcement agencies like the Chicago Police Department. While local law enforcement and prosecutors can file objections and notify the Illinois State Police that someone poses a danger, the final decision to revoke or suspend a concealed carry license rests with the state agency and the Concealed Carry Licensing Review Board. The problem in Johnson's case, according to legal analysts, is that because she was not immediately charged after the shooting, the standard process of revoking her license was not automatically triggered.
Again, she wasn't charged and hasn't been charged and should have been charged, and she wasn't, and she can continue to carry a weapon. And we've got to remember, he has children and she has children, so those children will be around a weapon. And obviously, to me, I grew up around guns. I'm Canadian. Guns is part of my culture. She is not a responsible gun user and should not have a weapon. And I'm telling you right now, mark my words, this is not going to be the last time that she's going to fire that gun at somebody.
Meanwhile, Carlos Way, the man who witnesses say held Romika in a chokehold, who allegedly fist-bumped Johnson after the shooting, who stood by while his girlfriend shot the mother of his child, has not been charged with any crime. Carlos Way has spoken to media outlets claiming that the witness accounts and prosecutors' version of events are not accurate, that what happened that morning did not unfold the way it has been described in court.
When I heard it, I'm just looking, it was unbelievable, but I was there. And I know for a fact none of that happened, how they just explained it. But my truth will get out here, and I hope everybody understand. That's really it. I can't even say too much right now, because it's just gonna feel like I'm going against them, they going against me, we just going back and forth. But the truth is gonna come out.
He's questioning the credibility of witnesses, disputing the chokehold allegations, and asserting that his truth will eventually come out. What makes his protestations particularly difficult to accept is the fact that since the shooting, Carlos Way has not seen his son, the 6-year-old, now 7-year-old boy that he shared with Romika. Whether this separation is by his choice, by court order, or by the decision of Romika's family, who now have custody, is unclear. But what is abundantly clear is that this little boy has lost both of his parents, one to death and one to the circumstances surrounding that death. This case bears haunting similarities to other love triangle murders that have captured national attention over the years, particularly the Rachel Wade case from 2010 in Florida. Rachel Wade, then 18 years old, stabbed her romantic rival Sarah Ludeman to death after months of escalating threats and harassment over a shared boyfriend.
A judge sentenced a Pinellas Park woman today to prison for more years than she's been alive. Rachel Wade learned her fate for her role in the deadly battle over the same boy. Her punishment, 27 years for killing her romantic rival back in April of 2009. Our Rebecca Medina is live at the Pinellas County Jail. And Rebecca, why did this judge decide to sentence Wade to 27 years and not life?
Well, Linda, the judge in this case basically said that Rachel Wade's lack of maturity and her age argued against a maximum sentence. One thing is certain tonight: when Rachel Wade walks out of prison, she will be a middle-aged woman, and she will be walking out as a convicted killer.
Like Johnson, Wade claimed self-defense, arguing that she feared for her life due to Ludeman's larger physical stature. Like Johnson, Wade had a documented history of threats and confrontational behavior toward her victim, and like Johnson, Wade's self-defense claim was rejected by a jury who convicted her of second-degree murder and sentenced her to 27 years in prison. The parallels between these cases are striking and may offer insight into how Johnson's case might ultimately be resolved. In both situations, the claim of self-defense was undermined by evidence of prior threats, by the defendant's decision to arm themselves and seek out the confrontation, and by witness testimony that contradicted their version of events. The pause between shots in Johnson's case serves a similar evidentiary function as Wade's threatening voicemails did. It demonstrates premeditation, a conscious decision to continue the attack, rather than a split-second reaction to an immediate threat. As this case moves forward toward trial, the community continues to grapple with the broader implications of what happened that September morning. This wasn't just a domestic dispute that got out of hand. This was a mother killed in a school zone in broad daylight, allegedly with the help of the father of her child. Romika Meeks Blockman's death has sparked important conversations about relationship violence, about the particular dangers that women face when romantic rivalries escalate, and about the need for better mechanisms to protect people caught in these dangerous love triangles before it's too late. What do you think about this case? Let me know in the comments section. Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.